filming. Well, I'm Yug, it's Matt, Australian gamer. We're here with Bryan and Ryan.
Yes, sir.
That's right. Insomniac Games, who have been here the whole weekend demonstrating the new Ratchet and Clank game, Tools of Destruction.
Very kindly flown out to talk to us. Just to talk to us. I believe this is why you're here, correct?
It's an exclusive, in fact.
This is, yeah. You haven't spoken to anyone else.
No. Pay no attention to the stories on the internet.
No. The internet will lie to you.
That's why we're here.
It's just a fad anyways.
Now, you would have looked around the expo, you would have had a bit of a look and said, what do you think of Sexpo?
Sexpo or Games Expo?
Pick one. Preferably the more interesting one, which, let's be honest...
It was clearly Games Expo.
Of course.
With songs like Vanilla Ice playing in the background.
Yeah, we've got some Vanilla Ice in the background.
You can't go wrong.
No.
You can't go wrong.
But have you enjoyed your time here? I mean, is this your first time to Australia as well?
Both of
This is our first time.
Yeah.
Fantastic time. We flew into New Zealand and then into Melbourne. And just two great cities, Auckland and Melbourne.
Yeah.
Nice.
You stick around, you're chilling out for a bit.
Oh yeah. We're Ryan's going to Sydney, and I'm going to hang out in Melbourne with my wife. We're going to go along the Great Ocean Road.
Yeah. That's a really nice ride.
Very nice.
Yeah, I've been out there. It's really, really good. Cool. But you're not coming up to Queensland. I'm disappointed about that.
No, that's the next trip. We're coming back.
You're coming back?
Oh yeah.
When you finish the next Ratchet and Clank game, right?
You never know.
Yeah.
You know, whenever Sony wants to invite us out, or maybe you guys want to have us out for an exclusive.
Yeah. Well, this is
another exclusive.
A second exclusive.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Almost caught myself.
I know. But I got you back there. That's cool.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
But
So you've just finished Ratchet and Clank, obviously. Tools of Destruction is now out, and I noticed it's on bus stops. It's everywhere. Like at the bus stop right next to my work is just the front, the back, the side, everywhere is Ratchet and Clank.
That's fantastic.
What's that like to see that? To see a game that heavily promoted?
It's amazing because we spend so much time in this little office in Burbank working away on something. We don't necessarily know how it's going to come out and go out to the world, how people are going to perceive it. And so to come to Australia, to see it all over the place, and then they hear the fans, how much they love the game, how much they enjoy it, and you're getting really some good reviews. It's just a really great experience. I mean, we've worked very, very hard on the game for the last 2 years, so it's really great to see that.
Yeah. How are you dealing with the fame at the moment? You know, is that tough?
We just had to hire security recently.
We've had to do the same.
You know, I'm still waiting for my order to be processed from Jacob the jeweler. And I got all the bling coming, and
because that's what you want.
Yeah, you know, you just.
I'm getting a grill.
Dude, I got mine.
Well, you're more famous than us.
Well, we just
we'll catch up.
But we just don't let it go to our heads, you know.
Yeah, you got to keep it real, man.
Yeah. You know, MTV Cribs, you know, they've called, but we try to
stay humble here.
Yeah.
Besides, it'd take like 3 different shows to go through the whole place, wouldn't it?
It really would. It really would. I mean, we're still working on the wings right now. You know. I try not to talk about that stuff.
Of course.
You know?
Let's let that go now. Let's let that go now.
Yeah.
So what now? Like you've just finished what has obviously been a massive game, like massive amount of time you spent on it. Sure. What do you do now? Do you just chill out and get some sleep?
Well, next week I'm trying through Australia, of course, or through Great Ocean Road. And then we're taking another break. A lot of people right now are on their post-production vacation. They get a few weeks off that they can just take it easy for a while, and then we kind of reassess what we want to do next. Just brainstorm and come up with a lot of different ideas. That's pretty much it. But we try to keep it chill a little bit. At the end of every project, it's very intense, very focused. It's like the last 3 miles of a marathon.
Yeah. You know, it's also a time where we really, on a serious note, we do post-mortems for the game, and we sit down and we talk about what worked and what didn't, and key lessons learned. I mean, over the years, we've learned so many, just major observations that have changed the way we make our games, even from Resistance: Fall of Man to Ratchet and Clank: Tools of Destruction. That actually made it into Ratchet.
Some elements that make it into Ratchet, especially the freezing and choosing your weapons. That was the one that stood out to me the most.
Yeah, well, you know, we've had the quick select. That's a big part of our game, and really the biggest one was having a large first level that really immerses you in the best elements of the game from the start. We learned from Resistance that we needed to create an experience that was less tutorial driven from the start and just more action oriented right out of the gate. And that's what we tried to do with Metropolis. Yeah.
Yep. And I mean, the other key thing is that you can have some great graphics, great sounds, all the bells and whistles, but in the end you have to make a solid game, and you have to have the gameplay has to be interesting, has to be strategic, the pacing, the progression. And it's not that we didn't do that on Resistance. We feel like Resistance is a great game too, but I think at first our attention was directed more towards the technology, and then later we realized, shit, we have to make a game here.
Yeah.
I think it's the first time I said the S word in an interview.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Exclusive.
That's right.
That's an exclusive. That's all right. We do a podcast, a weekly podcast, and it turns a little fruity on occasion.
All right.
We've dropped a few F-bombs in our podcast too. It's okay.
It's a 3-day extra. I think we're all pretty exhausted.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think
Kids, how's it going?
Yeah.
the thing with it is we figure that most gamers are over 18, and it's kind of unfortunate that a lot of the time we just assume they're not, We just blanket assume that everyone's a 14-year-old boy.
Well, I mean, for our game, for Ratchet in particular, we try to be sensitive just because
it is a younger demographic.
Yeah, but for Resistance,
Yeah, definitely.
shit doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think it is interesting, though, how our gaming culture is changing and how we're having a lot of older gamers here who've grown up playing games.
Yeah.
It's one of the things I spoke about during the keynote talk, is that we're going to see games in many different shapes and sizes. We already are. But as gamers get older, as their needs change for entertainment, games are going to change.
And there's still going to be gamers as they get older. They don't just stop.
You don't stop.
Right.
When you're a gamer, you don't stop. You don't just go, you know what, I'm 35. So I'm going to give it away.
I'm too old now.
Yeah.
So one thing I've heard, one of the few things I've really heard criticised about the PlayStation 3 from a developer point of view is just difficulties in working with the hardware. You guys have had two bites at it now.
Right.
Are you finding you're picking it up really well? Are you enjoying working with the hardware now? Is that an issue?
Well, certainly, if you have a lot of power, if you have a lot of power, it requires a lot of responsibility. You can have too much rope to hang yourself with. I'm around metaphors here, but
I was going to say, let's throw a few more. We take it one game at a time, one pitch at a time, and knock on it.
What are the comic book phrases? Can you point out?
If Spider-Man said it, it must be true.
I know, exactly.
It's a great way to live, really.
But I mean, the point is that there is a lot of horsepower there, and there's a lot of. It's important they have the experience to know how to make it sing. And so there's multiple processors. We're doing multi-threading, so we're processing different parts of the game on different processors, kind of like juggling. 8 balls in the air.
Right.
And so I think that's why some developers may find it a bit difficult. Is they're either just trying to do too much and they don't know how to manage what they're doing.
Well, one thing that we try to do is we've got a R&D site, like a research and development page on InsomniacGames.com. We talk about a lot of the processes that we implement to make our games. We don't want it to be secretive. Of course, there are certain elements that are proprietary, but generally speaking, you can go see how we lit Resistance Fall of Man. You can see full presentations on our collision system, and we've got a lot of great feedback from it. So,
do other companies do similar things? And if so, did you use those resources?
To our knowledge, nobody else is really doing this from a PlayStation 3 standpoint. Not sure about Xbox 360 or Wii. Of course, there are developmental tools to help aspiring game developers, which is great. But for developers sharing information with other developers, we're trying to do something special. Yeah, we're just trying to show. I mean, there's a lot of processes that are that can be similar across other developers, and if we all unify on some of the core stuff, then we can spend more time making each of our games stand out, and then that just benefits PlayStation 3 that much more.
Everyone.
Absolutely.
Everyone
And it's we feel like we've been pretty fortunate to have a lot of success in the industry, and we want to do our part to help other developers enjoy the same success.
We should actually probably let you guys go. You guys have had a pretty big weekend.
Pretty big weekend. So
We have. It's been intense.
Yeah.
Leaving here just after this interview, but be sure to visit the best Australian website
With the coolest art, too.
with the coolest art. That's right.
He drew that.
That's right. I do that.
I love it.
If there's an opening at Insomniac, I mean,
If there-
Careers page.
If there's an opening for a bad artist, just
I'm there.
All right.
Come on by. Yeah. Hey, you guys want to come out to Cali?
Yeah, anytime.
All right.
I'm
Hey,
sure
man,
we'll be
really
passing
cool, man.
by.
Pleasure. Thank you
Very cool, man.
Yeah,
Thanks so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, those questions were tame.
Yeah, it's easy.
We thought you were going to ask us about cheese.
Oh, well, I actually wanted to genuinely start asking you about Sexpo, but then I thought that you might actually get in, that might,
It might be like these things you might not want everyone to know.
Yeah, there are some gadgets that should never make an appearance in a Ratchet and Clank game.